Investments.
Honorable Duncan Gideji Chege, Chairperson, Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments. Any derogation to that effect? Okay. Okay, order, honorable members. Noticing that there is no member for PICPAC in the House, pursuant to Standing Order number 1, I refer back the matter to the House Business Committee for rescheduling. Clerk, next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, following your directions, we proceed to order number 7, statements. Order number 8, motions and bills. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have a procedural motion to be moved by Honorable Duncan Gideji Chege, the Chairperson, Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments Committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, again, following your directions, we move to the second motion by Honorable John Duogashino, the Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning and Urban Development.
Honorable John Duogashino, Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development. Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report on the Committee on Lands Physical Planning. And I start by giving the executive summary. Honorable Speaker, solid waste management has emerged as one of the most pressing and environmental and public health challenges facing municipalities in Kenya, Olkarau, Engineer, and Mailunya municipalities, all located within Nyandarua County, are experiencing increasing waste generation driven by population growth, urban development, and expanding economic activities. This report was prepared to analyze the legal background, evaluate the current solid waste management practices, and develop practical recommendations to improve the solid waste management system in the 3 municipalities. Key legal instruments guiding waste management in Kenya include the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which guarantees the right to clean and healthy environment, the Environmental Management Coordination Act, EMCA, the Sustainable Waste Management Act 2022, County Government Legislation and Municipal Bylaws. Key recommendations include implementation of the Municipal Solid Waste Management Plans, investment in waste collection infrastructure and transfer stations, promotion of waste segregation of source, strengthening enforcement of environmental regulations, enhancing public awareness and stakeholder participation, encouraging recycling and resource recovery initiative. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Kenya Urban Support Program, KUSIP 2, was formulated to enable the government revive and implement the support to receive from the World Bank. Among the qualifications for the Urban Development Grant, UDG, at the resort area 3 performance, Stranded 8 is the specialization of urban solid waste management. Policies whose implementation is monitored with the increased coverage and is reported on. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 25th February 2026, the documents were tabled and committed to the Committee on Large Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development for consideration, scrutiny, on onward approval, or with ways and subsequent reporting to the House.
Order, members, consult in low tones.
In conclusion, the solid waste management has vast legal backing as a public health requirement which is basic to the supporting human survival. It is essential for protecting environmental quality, safeguarding public health, and supporting sustainable urban development. Although the 3 municipalities jointly face significant common challenges in managing solid waste, these challenges can be addressed through improved grievances, investment in infrastructural community participation, and stronger enforcement of environmental laws. Adopting integrated and sustainable waste management practices will not only reduce environmental pollution, but also create economic opportunities through recycling and resource recovery. However, the success of the SWM plans will legally depend on effectively adequately financing, strong institution coordination, and active community participation. Addressing the identified gaps, particularly those related to monitoring enforcement, waste segregation, and the stakeholders' engagement, will significantly strengthen the plan's impact. With the effective implementation of the recommendation outlined in this report, all Karao, Engineer, and Mairoja municipalities shall move towards a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable urban environment. And I call Honorable Gesau to second. Thank you.
Honorable Gitau, member for Karau.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
The motion is duly moved and seconded. I now propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau, Engineer and Mailoinya municipalities, solid waste management policies and solid waste management plans as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau, Engineer, order, honorable member, order, honorable members. Resume your seat. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau, Engineer and Maironya municipalities, solid waste management policies and solid waste management plans as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the recommendations of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. Aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, still under the same order, we have a motion to be moved by Honorable John Dogashino, the Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development.
Honorable John Dugashino, Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development. Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion, that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau, Engineer and Mailunya municipalities' risk management policies as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolution of the House. Committee findings and observations. After reviewing the policy framework, the committee made the following findings. 1. The policy is aligned with the national governance framework, including the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Urban Areas and Cities Act 2011, the County Government Act 2012, and the Public Finance Management Act 2012, and the relevant regulation therefrom. 2. The policy framework provides a comprehensive framework for identifying and managing risk within Olkalau, Engineer, and Mailunya municipalities. 3. Implementation of the policy framework will strengthen governance, accountability, and internal controls system within the municipalities. 4. The policy framework will enhance the municipalities' capacity and anticipate and respond to operational, financial, and environmental risks. The committee observed that the policy framework will promote integration of risk management into planning, budgeting, and services delivery processes. 6. The committee further noted that the effective implementation will require A. Continuous training of municipal staff, B. Adequate institutional capacity, C. Regular monitoring and reporting mechanism. In conclusion, therefore, the recommendation, having considered the Olkalau Engineer and Mailunya municipalities' risk management policy frameworks 2025, the committee makes the following recommendations. That this House does approve the Olkalau Municipality Risk Management Policy Framework 2025. That this House does approve the Engineer Municipality Risk Management Policy Framework 2025. That this House does approve the Mailunya Municipality Risk Management Policy Framework 2025. That the Department of Land, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development shall ensure risk management integrated into the municipality's planning, budgeting, and confirmation and permission management processes. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, financial transparency and accountability are key pillars and principles in the management of public resources. The risk management policy framework for the 3 municipalities are one of the key tools and documents to ensure the approval and implementation of the seed policy framework, and therefore critical for the progress and prosperity of the municipalities and the county as a whole. I therefore urge this House to approve the policy framework for the sake of the ensuring effective and efficient utilization of public resources. And I call upon Joyce to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
The motion is duly moved and seconded. I now propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Land, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau, Eugenia and Maironia municipalities risk management policies as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the solutions of the House. Honorable Ibrahim, member for Murungaru.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to support this report, considering that we have 3 municipalities and they have been working without these policies. And when this House approves these policies, the risk policy in regards to 3 municipalities, this one is going to give the municipality a dynamic environment for them to have good governance, and also they have infrastructure development and to enhance the service delivery to our constituents. Therefore, with these policies, they are able now to factor in several risks that may occur, and therefore, with these policies, they have a framework for them to work on, and therefore, I support.
You may proceed and call the mover to respond.
Honorable Speaker, I may call the chair to support.
Respond.
To respond, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah.
I support. I move.
I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, and Urban Housing and Urban Development on the Orokarau, Eugenia and Maironia municipalities risk management policies as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have another motion to be moved by Honorable John Dugashino, Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development.
Honorable John Dugashino, Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development. Proceed. Honorable Ibrahim, you may proceed.
Honorable Speaker, as I have been delegated to move this motion by my chair, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion, that this House does adopt the motion on report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau, Eugenia and Maironia municipalities asset management policies, asset register and maintenance plans as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolution of the House. Honorable Speaker, we have the various reports. We have several. We have prevalence, Then we have the committee membership. Also, we have an acknowledgement, Honorable Speaker, and introduction of this report. And also on page 12, we have legal and policy framework. And I will go straight to committee observation and key findings. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the committee review of the municipal asset management policy and plans, several key findings were identified. One, the municipalities possesses numerous valuable assets that support public service delivery, but which were previously not systematically documented. Number two, the lack of comprehensive asset registers has historically limited effective planning and budgeting for maintenance. Number three is maintenance of municipal infrastructures has often been reactive rather than preventive, leading to accelerated asset deterioration. Number four is strengthening asset management system provides an opportunity to enhance financial planning, accountability, and efficiency in management of municipal resources. Municipality-specific observation. Honorable Speaker, on Kalau Municipality hosts a wide range of administrative and commercial infrastructure, including markets, public buildings, roads, and social amenities. Establishing structured asset register and maintenance plans will enhance the municipality ability to manage these assets efficiently. In Engineer Municipality, Honorable Speaker, serves as an important trading center, supporting agricultural production. Asset management system will support the maintenance of market facilities, roads and service infrastructure required for economic activity. In Mairo Inya, Honorable Speaker, is an emerging urban center experiencing infrastructure growth. The adoption of asset register and maintenance plans will enable the municipality to manage its expanding asset base effectively. Mr. Speaker, sir, on committee recommendations, based on the interrogations and findings of the All Kalau, Engineer, and Mailoinya Assets Management Policy, Asset Register, and Maintenance Plans, the committee proposes the following recommendations. One, that this House does adopt the All Kalau Municipality Asset Management Policy, Asset Register, and Maintenance Plan. Two, that this House does adopt the Engineer Municipality Asset Management Policy, Asset Register, and Maintenance Plan. Three, that this House does adopt the Asset Management Policy for Mailoinya Municipality. And number four, that the Department of Lands, Fiscal Planning, Housing, and Urban Development does undertake capacity building for municipal staff on asset management policies. Mr. Speaker, sir, on conclusion, the development of municipal asset management policies, asset registers, and maintenance plans represents a major step towards strengthening governance and service delivery within Nyandarua County municipalities. Approval of these instruments will enable municipalities to manage public assets more efficiently, improve infrastructures, sustainability, and enhance accountability in the use of public resources. Mr. Speaker, sir, I call Honorable Esther Waithera to second the Vice Chair.
Honorable Speaker, I support.
Member, you may need to second the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second.
The motion is duly moved and seconded. I now propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the motion on report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Orkalau, Eugenia, and Maironia municipalities' asset management policies, asset register, and maintenance plans as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the motion on report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau, Engineer and Maironia municipalities' asset management policies, asset register, and maintenance plans as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we are still under the order on motions. We have a motion by Honorable John Dogashino, Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development.
Honorable Ibrahim, proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Orkalau and Engineer municipalities' urban climate risk profiles as a report of the House and recommendation therein as the resolution of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have already a report in our tablets. With your permission, allow me to go to the committee proceedings, which is chapter 2, that is finding and observation. Mr. Speaker, the following are the committee findings and observation. 1. Validation and stakeholder engagement. The committee took cognizance of the decision into Better Welfare Society, First Kenya Airport Authority and others, where the Supreme Court emphasized the obligation of public authorities to ensure that the development and planning process respect constitutional rights and promote social justice. In particular, the committee observed that a validation workshop for Orkalau Municipality Urban Climate Risk Profile was conducted where stakeholders including representatives from county government, members of municipal boards, technical officers and other relevant actors reviewed the draft document and provided input with organization. B. Similarly, a validation workshop for Engineer Municipality Urban Climate Risk Profile was held, bringing together municipal officials, sector departments, and other stakeholders to review and validate the findings and the proposed implications contained in the report. The committee notes that such validation exercises were consistent with the principles of stakeholder consultation, and participatory policy development as envisaged and Article 10 of Constitution of Kenya 2010 and Section 87 and 115 of the County Government Act 2012, which obligates county governments to facilitate meaningful public participation in governance and planning policy. Mr. Speaker, two is alignment with county planning and federal frameworks. 3 is institutional capacity of the municipalities. And 4 is adequacy of climate risk assessment. And number 5 is importance of climate responsive urban planning. And 6 is promoting climate resilience and integrating climate risk consideration into development planning. And number 7 is resource mobilization opportunities. Mr. Speaker, Chapter 3 is the recommendation. Having examined the urban governing climate change and urban development, the committee makes the following recommendation to the House. 1, that this Honorable House approves the urban climate risk profiles for Orkalau municipality and Engineer municipality. And Mr. Speaker, on Chapter 4, which is conclusion, the approval of the documents will support the integration of climate resilience consideration into urban planning and development within the municipality in line with provisions of the Climate Change Act, the Urban Areas and Cities Act, and the County Government Act. Mr. Speaker, further, the urban climate risk profiles will serve as important planning tools for identifying climate-related risks and guiding the implementation and climate adaptation interventions within the municipalities. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, the preparation and approval of these documents form part of the compliance requirements under the second Kenya Urban Support Program, KUS-2, and their approval will therefore position the municipality to assess urban development grants and other development financing aimed at strengthening urban infrastructure and climate resilience. The committee therefore urges this Honorable House to adopt this report and approve the urban climate risk profiles for Orkalau and Engineer municipality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And lastly, we have annexures as attached, and I call Honorable Joyce Munywa to second.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
The motion is duly moved and seconded. I now propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Orkalau and Engineer municipalities' urban climate risk profiles as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Orkalau, and the Engineer municipalities' urban climate risk profiles as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. Aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we're still under the order on motions, with a motion being moved by Honorable John Zogashino, the chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning and Urban Development.
Honorable John Dugashino.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, sir,
Honorable Joyce Monua, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the private sector engagement framework and municipal private sector diagnostic tools as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as a resolution of the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, I go to the committee observations and findings. 1, economic structure of the municipality. Mr. Speaker, sir, the municipalities of Orkarao, Engineer and Marunya exhibit similar economic characteristics. The majority of businesses operate within the informal sector, within SMEs dominating trade, agriculture and service industries. Agriculture remains the backbone of local economy, particularly through potato farming, dairy production and horticulture. Urban centers such act as aggregation points where agricultural produce is traded before being transported to larger markets such as Nairobi and Nakuru. Infrastructure challenges. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the most significant challenges affecting private sector growth in the municipalities is inadequate infrastructure. Feedback roads connecting rural production areas to urban markets are often poorly maintained, making transportation difficult, especially during rainy seasons. Limited cold storage and warehousing facilities also contribute to a high level of post-harvest losses for agriculture products. 3, business regulatory environment. Mr. Speaker, sir, the diagnostic tools also reviewed concerns among business regarding complex licensing procedures and regulatory process. Many enterprises reported challenges relating to the cost and time required to obtain business permits and comply with regulatory requirements. 4, access to finance. Mr. Speaker, sir, access to affordable finance remains a key challenge for SMEs. Commercial banks often require collateral that many small enterprises cannot provide. As a result, many businesses rely on informal financing mechanisms or circles to support their operations. And 5, skills and innovation. Mr. Speaker, sir, another key observation is the mismatch between available labor skills and the needs of modern enterprises. Vocational training institutions require strengthening to better align their curricula with emerging economic opportunities, such as agro-processing, renewable energy, technologies, and tourism services. On recommendation, Mr. Speaker, sir, based on the findings of the Orkarao, Maironya, and Engineer municipalities' diagnostic assessment, the committee proposes the following policy interventions and recommendations as follows. 1, that the House does adopt the private sector engagement framework and the Orkarao, Maironya, and Engineer municipal diagnostic assessment as the guiding policy instruments for the strengthening collaboration between the county governments and private sector actors. 2, that the Department of Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development does establish structural private dialogue platforms within municipalities. 3, that the county executive does spearhead investment in infrastructure, including roads, electricity, water supply, and digital connectivity. 4, that the county executive does facilitate the development of agro-processing facilities and industrial parks to promote value addition within respective municipalities. 5, that the county executive does strengthen support programs for SMEs, including access to finance, entrepreneurship training, and business development services. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, the private sector engagement framework and the municipal private sector diagnostic tools represent important milestones in the county government's efforts to promote inclusive economic development within Nyandarua County's successful implementation of the private sector engagement framework and requires strong coordination between respective county departments, municipal administrators, private sector organization, and development partners. Through targeted reforms, infrastructure investment, and structural public-private collaboration, the county can unlock inclusive and sustainable urban economic growth. The county government should also ensure that the recommendations contained in the diagnostic tools are integrated into key planning documents such as the County Integrated Development Plan, CIDP, Annual Development Plans, ADPs, and Municipal Strategic Plans. By approving these instruments, the County Assembly will provide the necessary policy foundation for strengthening collaboration between private institutions and private investors. The Committee of Lands, Fiscal Planning, Housing, and Urban Development therefore respectfully request this House to approve the framework and diagnostic tools to support sustainable economic growth and job creation within the county. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I call Honorable Ibrahim to second.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
The motion is duly moved and seconded. I now propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on Private Sector Engagement Framework and Municipal Private Sector Diagnostic Tools as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Private Sector Engagement Framework and Municipal Private Sector Diagnostic Tools as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. Aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, still at order number 8, we have another motion to be moved by Honorable John Dogashino, Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development.
Honorable Esther, Vice Chair, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning and Urban Development. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Private Sector Engagement Framework and Municipal Private Sector Diagnostic Tools Thank you for the correction, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkarau Municipality IDEP 2026 to 2031 and Engineer Municipality IDEP 2025 to 2030 as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. Mr. Speaker, I'll go direct to the committee's observations and findings. Mr. Speaker, sir, after intensive consultations and deliberations, the committee made the following observations and findings. In Engineer Municipality, there is no evidence demonstrating that public participation was conducted, such as photographs of attendees, attendance registers of the venue where it took place, only and clear dates are provided. The committee therefore observed that the alleged public participation in Engineer Municipality was insufficient as it lacked a definite number of attendees and a clearly identified venue. 2, the municipality is critically understaffed with only 8 employees currently in place, which is far below the projected staffing level. Although the municipality has planned to recruit up to 54 staff members, this target may be difficult to achieve due to limited budget allocations and concerns over the rising wage bill. The committee therefore emphasized the need to prioritize the recruitment of key personnel to fill critical roles and enhance efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. And number 3,
Order, Honorable Mureithi, maintain order.
Number 3, Mr. Speaker, the revenue projections for Engineer municipality are unrealistic as the municipality remains highly dependent on donor funding. When we go to Olkarau municipality, number 1, the committee observed that the municipality is critically understaffed, highlighting the need to prioritize and recruitment of key personnel to fill essential positions and improve service delivery. However, the current number of staff and staffing projections for the municipality have not been provided, making it difficult to determine the required staffing levels or the existing deficit. Number 2, the committee noted that the public participation was insufficient without a definite date and venue for which the alleged public participation was conducted. And number 3, the projected on-source revenue is understated given the municipality's potential. An increase in projected revenue will ensure that the municipality initiates programs meant to increase revenue and improve the quality of life of the residents. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, that the municipality is highly reliant on donor funding, which is not only unsustainable, but also hinders the implementation of projects within the municipality. As a committee, we recommended that having considered the Olkarau Municipality Integrated Development Plan, that is IDEP 2026 to 2031, and the Engineer Municipality Integrated Development Plan, IDEP 2025 to 2030, the committee makes the following recommendations. 1, pursuant to Section 110(3) of the County Government Act 2012, this House does approve the Olkarau Municipality Integrated Development Plan 2026 to 2031 and the Engineer Municipality Integrated Development Plan 2025 to 2030. That the approved integrated development plans for both municipalities shall guide and form the basis for all development planning and implementation within Olkarau and Engineer municipalities. Number 3, that the County Treasury and the County Executive Committee does ensure adequate resource allocation to both municipalities to facilitate effective implementation of the approved integrated development plans and enable the municipalities to operate efficiently. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the committee recognizes the significance of Olkarau Municipality IDEP and the Engineer Municipality IDEP as critical frameworks for guiding the growth, planning, and sustainable development of the two municipalities. These plans provide an important roadmap for improving service delivery, strengthening local governance, and enhancing socio-economic development within the municipalities. However, the committee observations and findings reveal a number of gaps and areas that require urgent attention to ensure the effective implementation of the plans. Key issues identified include inadequate staffing levels, gaps in documentation of public participations, unrealistic or unclear revenue projections, and the need to strengthen environmental considerations in development planning. Addressing these concerns will be essential to ensure that the plans are responsive to the current and future needs of residents in both municipalities. The committee therefore urges this House to approve the two IDEPs with the understanding that the identified gaps should be addressed during implementation. In particular, there is need for prioritization of recruitment to address staffing shortages, adoption of realistic revenue projections, strengthening of public participation processes, and the integration of comprehensive environmental management strategies. It is committee's firm belief that with proper planning, timely interventions, and adequate allocation of resources, both Olkarau and engineer municipalities will be better positioned to achieve their development objectives, improve service delivery, and enhance the overall quality of life for their residents. Mr. Speaker, the committee remains committed to ensuring that the recommended actions are followed through and that the development of both municipalities is undertaken in a transparent, inclusive, and sustainable manner for the benefit of all stakeholders. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I call Honorable Joyce Munywa to second.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
The motion is duly moved and seconded. I now propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkarau Municipality IDEP 2026-2031 and the Engineer Municipality IDEP 2025-2030 as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkarau Municipality IDEP 2026-2031 and Engineer Municipality IDEP 2025-2030 as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay, and the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we are still under the order on motions. We have the 7th motion by Honorable John Dogashino, the Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on pre-feasibility studies and municipal investment plans.
Honorable John Dogashino. Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development. Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report on the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkarau and Engineer Municipalities, feasibility studies and municipal investment plans as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolution of the House. Honorable Speaker, the committee observed and finds that the chapter presents a brief highlight of the feasibility report and municipal annual investment plans for Olkarau and engineer municipalities, as well as critical committee observation and findings. The key highlights committee observation and findings. Part 1, Olkarau Municipality Feasibility Study and Annual Investment Plan. Annual Investment Plan. Honorable Speaker, the Olkarau Annual Investment Plan represents a strategic municipal infrastructure investment aimed at addressing critical urban challenges in the CBD, particularly flooding, congestion, and pedestrian accessibility. Through a Kenya shillings 21 million investment financed at the KU KUSIP 2 Urban Development Grant, the municipality will implement targeted improvement in drainage, pedestrian infrastructure, parking, organization, and urban environment quality. Key highlights: committee observed and findings on the feasibility study and annual investment plan for Olkalau municipality are presented as follows. 1. Statutional analysis. 2. Proposed investment. 3. Financing plan. 4. Adherence to urban development grant UDG criteria. 2. Proposed investment for the year 2025 to 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee observed that the municipal board has prepared a detailed AIP for consideration and approval by the county assembly to enable the municipality to be eligible for the urban development grant award. Precisely, the AIP prioritizes a parking and drainage improvement project within the Central Business District CBD. Core investment components include cable paving of pedestrian walkways and designed parking spaces to improve mobility, safety, and accessibility. 2. Construction of reinforced concrete U-drains and installation of cut pins to improve stormwater from the reduced flooding. C. Landscaping and grading. D. Installation of universal access features. 3. Financing plan. Honorable Speaker, the committee notes that the total project cost of Engineer Municipality investment plan in Kenya shillings 19,044,620. Further, the committee notes that the funding sources is 100% from the Kenya Urban Support Program Phase 2, KUSIP 2, financial year 2025 to 2026. The financing is budgeted as follows. Approximately 85% dedicated to permanent non-movable infrastructure, consultancy, supervision, and preparation kept below 20% as required. 3. Contingency provision maintained below 5%. And county government provided technical and administrative and oversight support, ensuring sustainability and compliance. Compliance with KUSIP 2 Urban Development Grant criteria. Honorable Speaker, based on KUSIP 2 program guidelines and the program of operations manual, the committee observed that the investment plan project meets all mandatory KUSIP 2 requirements, that is, planning eligibility, land and legal compliance, fiduciary compliance, safeguards, and institutional readiness. In summary, therefore, Honorable Speaker, the committee makes the following summary observation and findings based on data review and scrutiny for the four documents referred to. 1. That the investment plan project meets all mandatory KUSIP 2 requirement as provided on KUSIP 2 program guidelines and the program operations manual. That wider stakeholders constitutions and public participations were done and the documents aligned to the county planning framework. 3. There is need for future municipal investment plans to provide an implementation matrix with clear policy in intervention areas, strategies, activities, outputs, key performance indicators, KPIs, responsibilities, and costing where possible to support objectives M&E and performance review as investigated in inclusive to guidelines. The committee therefore recommended that, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommended that the House does approve the Olkarau and the engineer municipalities feasibility studies and annual investment plans together with the amendments contained in Chapter 3 of this report. Conclusion, given the urbanization pressures, there is need for proper urban planning and adequate financing of urban areas within the county to mitigate against the aforementioned challenges. There is need for long-term urban planning and the ability funding to support sustainable, resilient, and smart urban areas in Nyandarua County. And I call Honorable Joyce to second. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
The motion is duly moved and seconded. I now propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkarau and engineer municipalities, pre-feasibility studies and municipal investment plans as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the solutions of the House. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkarau and engineer municipalities, pre-feasibility studies and municipal investment plans as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. Aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we're still under order number 8 on motions. We have the 8th motion by Honorable John Dugashino, Chairperson Committee on Lands, Physical Planning and Urban Developments on Municipal Grievances and Redress Mechanism System.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkarau engineer and Mairoinya municipalities, municipal grievances and redress mechanism system as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolution of the House. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I go straight to, Madam Speaker, with your permission, allow me to go straight to the committee recommendations. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Article 185(4) of the Constitution, as read together with the Standing Order 205B of Nyandarua County Assembly Standing Orders, the committee scrutinized grievance redress mechanism framework for Olkarau, engineer, and Mairoinya municipalities and makes the following recommendation: that the House does approve the grievance redress mechanism framework for Olkarau municipality. 2, that the House does approve the grievance redress mechanism framework for Mairoinya municipality. And 3, that the House does approve the grievance redress mechanism framework for engineer municipality. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I call Honorable Joyce Munywa to second.
Honorable Joyce Munywa.
Madam Speaker, I second.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I
I move that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Ol Kalau, Engineer and Maironia municipalities. Yes, on sorry for that, honorable members. I propose the question that the House does adopt the report on the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Ol Kalau, Engineer and Maironia municipalities, and redress mechanism system as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolution of the House. Thank you very much, honorable members. I do put the question now that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Development on the Ol Kalau, Engineer and Maironia municipalities, grievances and readiness mechanism system as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolutions of this House. Will as many as of a similar opinion say aye? Those of the contrary say nay, and the ayes have it. Clerk.
Madam Speaker, we are still under the order on motions. We are on the 8th motion to be moved by Honorable John Gashino, the Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on Gender Inclusion and Participation Framework.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Ol Kalau, Engineer and Maironia municipalities, Gender Inclusion and Participation Framework as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of the House. Madam Speaker, I wish to start by explaining what gender inclusion is. And by Blackrose Dictionary, it defines gender inclusion as the active intentional process of ensuring people of all gender identities, particularly women, girls, and gender diverse individuals, as respected, represented, and given equal access to opportunities, resources, and decision making. In the legal background, the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, Article 27, guarantees equality before law. It prohibits discrimination on basis of sex and mandates affirmative action to address historical inequalities. The Constitution further requires that no more than 2/3 of elective and appointive positions be occupied by one gender. Honorable Speaker, the County Government Act of 2012 emphasizes on citizen involvement in decision making. This provides for an avenue for women, youth, and marginalized groups to influence government decision making. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Vision 2030 is a national blueprint which promotes equitable and sustainable socio-economic growth, gender equality and empowerment of women and youth as cross-cutting priorities. Honorable Speaker, the overview of the Gender Inclusion and Participation Framework 2026 to 2028, the Nyandarua County Gender and Inclusion Framework is intended to achieve the following objectives. 1, to ensure women and marginalized groups participate in governance and leadership. 2, to ensure men and women have equitable access to formal and informal employment. 3, to ensure men and women have access to education. And 4, to ensure men and women have access to health, urban infrastructure, and social welfare. Honorable Speaker, the framework further highlights the barriers and constraints to gender equality, which includes underrepresentation in leadership and technical roles, weak enforcement of gender policies, limited access to formal employment, there is wage gap, limited access to credit access and assets, education and skills gap, gender norms and stereotypes, time poverty, gender-based violence, limited awareness of legal rights and grievances mechanisms, social exclusions, skills mismatch. Honorable Speaker, to address the aforesaid policy gaps, the policy has enumerated a number of policy interventions that includes institutional alignment. The policy proposes integration of gender mainstreaming into municipal charters and standing orders. It further proposes the adherence of two-third gender rule, appoint a gender and social inclusion focal person. B, gender-responsive urban planning that includes integrating gender analysis into urban development plans, ensuring public participation include women and other vulnerable groups. C, gender-responsive budgeting, introduce gender-responsive budget, track gender-related allocation, and develop gender expenditure tracking tools. And D, capacity building by training municipal board members and orienting ward committees and community development officers on inclusive service delivery standards. And to the aforementioned, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that pursuant to Article 185(4) of the Constitution, as read together with Standing Order 200, Part 5B of the Nyandarua County Assembly Standing Orders, the committee scrutinized the gender inclusion and participation framework for Karao, Engineer, and Maironya municipalities and makes the following recommendations. So 1, that the House does approve the gender inclusion and participation framework for Karao municipality. 2, the House does approve the gender inclusion and participation framework for Maironya municipality. And 3, the House does approve the gender inclusion and participation framework for Engineer municipality.
Proceed, Honorable Esther.
Having said that, I call the seconder, Honorable Gashino.
I second.
Thank you very much. The motion has duly been moved. Now I want to that this House, honorable members, does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the ICDP for engineer municipalities as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolutions of this House. Thank you so much. The motions are quite a number and creating some confusion. Sorry for that. I wish to remove, to beg to repeat that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau Engineer and Maironya municipalities gender inclusion and participation framework as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolutions of this House. Thank you, honorable members. I now wish to put the question that this House does adopt the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau Engineer and Maironya Municipality Gender Inclusion and Participation Framework as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolutions of this House. Will as many as of a similar opinion say aye? Aye. Those of the contrary say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Madam Speaker, we are on the 10th motion to be moved by Honorable John Zogashino, Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on ISUDP for Engineer Municipality.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing, and Urban Development on the issue for engineer municipality as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as a resolution of the House. Madam Speaker, I'll go straight to the committee recommendations. Having scrutinized the engineer municipality integrated strategic urban development plan, the committee recommends as follows: that pursuant to section 41 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act 2011, as read together with the section 49, subsection 2 of the Physical Land Use and Planning Act of 2019, this House does approve the engineer municipality integrated strategic urban development plan issued for 2025-2035. Two, that in the future, the Department of Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development should ensure that there is enhanced public engagement during the preparation of all planning documents. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the engineer municipality is 2025-2035 demonstrates a well-structured and comprehensive approach to urban planning, addressing the municipality's rapid growth and evolving development needs. The plan clearly articulates the vision, mission, and strategic objectives while providing a detailed analysis of population distribution, economic activities, livelihoods, land use, and infrastructural services. However, the committee identified gaps in public participation and emphasized the need for broader stakeholder engagement to capture the aspirations of all the residents. The situational analysis and legal framework reference reflect adherence to national legislation, including the Constitution of Kenya and relevant planning statutes, ensuring both compliance and alignment with broader governance goals. Overall, the plan serves as a practical guide for sustainable development, balancing current requirements with future growth consideration. It lays a strong foundation for informed decision-making, effective resource allocation, and inclusive community development, and is therefore recommended for approval. Madam Speaker, I call Honorable Gitau to second.
Honorable Gitau, proceed.
Madam Speaker, I second.
Thank you, honorable members. I propose that this House does adopt the report on the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the issue of ICUDP for engineer municipalities as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of this House. Thank you, honorable member. I wish to put the question that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the ICUDP for engineer municipality as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolutions of this House. Will as many as of a similar opinion say aye? Aye. Those of the contrary say nay. The ayes have it. Let's proceed, clerk.
Madam Speaker, we're on the motion. We're still under the order on motion. We have the 11th motion by the Committee on Lands to be moved by Honorable John Dwogashino on the engineer, Olkalau engineer in Maironya urban area funding criteria.
Proceed, Honorable Dwogashino.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following motion that this House does adopt the report on the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkarau engineer and Mairunya municipalities urban area funding criteria as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolution of the House. Honorable Speaker, I think I would go straight to the observations. Honorable Speaker, the committee, having reviewed the policy, makes the following observation and findings: that failure to fully implement the municipal charter through delegation functions and transfer of revenue-raising powers within the urban areas is a major bottleneck that compromises the urban governance and financial stability of the municipal boards. This results in delays in service delivery and dependency of the municipality on county government. Further, failure to transfer functions compounds the ability to cost service delivery and required funding for the urban areas, since funds must follow functions. The proposed urban areas funding formula covers critical parameters highlighted under Section 173 of the PFMA 2012. The policy framework introduces a formula-based allocation system that reflects services demands, developed needs, revenue performance, historical funding patterns, and spatial coverage. If implemented, it will eliminate discretion-based allocation and promote equitable development among the municipalities. There is need to scenario simulation for the formula to establish the optimal funding for the municipalities. The stimulation and application of the formula must be supported by a credible up-to-date GIS-based data management system to enhance the objectivity of the formula. This calls for closer stakeholders collaboration and cooperation in data sharing and resource allocation. The need to provide a predictable mechanism for implementation and review of the formula within known timelines. The CCM responsible for the finance should handle this responsibility and review undertaken every 5 years in line with the county planning cycle. Situationally, analysis of funding of urban areas within the county should highlight not only allocation of the municipalities per financial year, but also the conditional grant from the development partner and county departments opportunities, appropriaties for function and out to be transferred for the municipal boards. There is need for the policy to provide an implementation matrix which clearly intervention areas, strategies, activities, outputs, key performance indicators, KPI, responsibilities, and costing where possible, the support objectives M and E. The recommendation that is that the House does approve the Nyandarua County Urban Area Financing Policy together with the amendments contained in Chapter 3 of this report. In conclusion, therefore, given the urbanization pressure, there is need for proper urban planning and adequate financing of urban areas within the county to mitigate against the aforementioned challenges. This calls for political goodwill and closer collaborations and cooperations among stakeholders to support delegation of functions, transfer of revenue raisings, powers, and appropriation of funds to municipal boards based on the proposed urban areas financing formula. And I call Honorable Gitau to second. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Gitau.
Madam Speaker, I second.
Thank you, honorable members. That motion has duly been moved. And I want to propose that this House does adopt the report on the Committee on Lands, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development on the Olkalau Engineer and Maironia Municipalities Urban Areas funding criteria as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolution of this House. Thank you, honorable members. I wish to put the question that this House does adopt the report of the Committees on Land, Physical Planning, Housing and Development on the Olkalau, Engineer and Maironia Municipalities Urban Areas funding criteria as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as the resolutions of this House. Will as many as of a similar opinion say aye? Aye. Those of the contrary, nay. The ayes have it and the motion has been passed. Honorable Clerk, let's proceed to the next business.
Madam Speaker, we have exhausted the business and motions, but in light of your earlier directions, there was a paper to be tabled by the Honorable Duncan Gidenji Chege, the Chairperson, Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments.
Yes, Honorable Lucy, please proceed.
Madam Speaker, I wish to tender apologies on behalf of my chairperson, Honorable Duncan Gidenji Chege, and the members of the Committee on Public Accounts and Investment for not being present at the commencement of the sitting. I understand that one of our businesses was referred to the House Business Committee for rescheduling. Pursuant to Standing Order 42(2), I implore upon the mercies of the Speaker to reconsider his decision and rearrange the business of the day to ensure that the business is considered in this sitting. Madam Speaker, this business is one that has constitutional timelines, and any departure from the consideration today, the 11th day of March, will render any consideration by this House on other than nugatory. I seek the leave of the Speaker to allow its consideration now. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
All right. Please take your seat, Lucy. All right. Listening to that appeal from Lucy, we had thought of referring the matter back to the House Business. However, that explanation seems to have created an appeal to the members, and I can see they both agree that we proceed with that business. However, in the future, let's avoid such inconveniences.
Much obliged, Madam Speaker.
All right. Clerk, we proceed.
Madam Speaker, I wish to table a report of the Committee on County Public Accounts Investment Committee on the report of Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025. Is this the one? Yes. And I table.
Thank you. The report has duly been tabled. Thank you very much. Clerk, let's now proceed to the next business.
Having received the report, Madam Speaker, there is a notice of motion to be given by the Honorable Duncan Gidenji Chege, the Chairperson, Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment.
Proceed, Honorable Lucy Lynch.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion that this House does adopt the report of the Committee of County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolution of the House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Lucy. Notice. Thank you, Honorable Juliana, for seconding. The notice of motion is duly given, and the same shall be processed as directed by the House Business Committee pursuant to Standing Order 157 5D. Next order, Clerk.
Notice of motion, Madam Speaker, having been given, we proceed to the motions and bills, where there is a procedural motion by the Honorable Duncan Gidenji Chege, the Chairperson, Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments.
Honorable Juliana Babu, the Vice Chairperson, Pick and Pack Committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to take this opportunity to move a procedural motion pursuant to Standing Orders 236, that the motion, this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on report of the Office of the Auditor General on Nyandarua County Bursary Fund for the year ending 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and the recommendation therein as the resolution of this House. Be exempted, Madam Speaker, from the requirement of Standing Order 55B that requires a motion to be given at least 1 day before the motion appears before this House. And I want to again call Honorable Lucy to, sorry, Madam Speaker, I wish to call Honorable Esther to second this procedural motion for me. Thank you.
All right, Honorable Esther.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I second.
Thank you. I propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as resolutions of the House. So the mover, if there is no debate. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and the recommendations therein as resolutions of the House. May those of a similar opinion say aye. Aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, there is a substantive motion under the same order to be moved by the Honorable Duncan Gidenji Chege.
On behalf of Honorable Duncan, we have Honorable Juliana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, I wish to move a motion to beg the House to adopt a report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and the Investment Committee on the report of the Office of Auditor General on the Bursary Fund for the year ending 30th June 2025, a report of the House and its recommendation as a resolution of this House. And Madam Speaker, first and foremost is to appreciate the Office of the Speaker for facilitating this committee, and also to appreciate the executive for showing up, showing up to answer questions, to give submissions, to basically enable this committee to prepare this report. And Madam Speaker, the committee is mandated under our standing orders 181 to be able to interrogate the reports of the Auditor General. And Madam Speaker, I wish to appreciate the membership of the committee led by our chair, Duncan Kithenji, and myself, the vice chair. And most importantly, appreciate the secretariat led by our own substantive clerk, Ms. Alice, and our principal clerk, Karano, and the entire membership of the secretariat. Madam Speaker, to effectively discharge our oversight mandate and interrogate query raised by the Auditor General, the Public Accounts and Investment Committee adopted a multi-pronged approach to conduct an in-depth review of the Auditor General's report for the financial year 2024-2025. We requested detailed memoranda from the executive for vocational training, gender and social services protection to address specific queries. Madam Speaker, we held sessions and scrutinized the responses and supported documents submitted by the fund administrator regarding the management of the bursary account. We also conducted consultative meetings with the CEC for education to revise oral submissions and clarification on outstanding financial discrepancies, and also retreated to analyze all evidences gathered and compiled a comprehensive report for the tabling and subsequent debates by this House. And among the key observations, Madam Speaker, is that the statement of financial performance, note 9, to the financial statement reflected other incomes amounting to 7,526,860 Kenya shillings. That management explained that the amount related to checks, written back to the cash book. However, Madam Speaker, you will note that the evidence of reversal of the checks in the cash book was not provided for audit review, contrary to Regulation 1041 of the County Public Finance Management Act, that's the PFM, regulations of 2015, which requires that accounting officers to maintain proper records to supportive documents of financial statements and transactions. Additionally, Madam Speaker, recognizing such reversals as income may contravene international public sector accounting standards on revenue from exchange transactions. Subsequently, the accuracy and completeness of the reported income could not be confirmed. We interrogated further, and the department acknowledged that the audit observations and explained that the amount related to stalled checks issued, Madam Speaker, that the amount related to stalled checks issued in previous financial years that were reversed and written back in the cash book during the year under review. Management further stated that the checks had become stalled and the funds reverted to fund account, and they were recognized as receipt, and in accordance with the reporting templates for the statement, the department submitted supporting documents including cash books for the financial year 2024-2025 as the evidence of the reversal. However, Madam Speaker, the committee noted that the explanation provided by the department and reviewed the supporting documents indicating that the checks had been reversed in the cash book. However, the committee observed the supporting document had not been made available during the audit process, which led to the query being raised. Madam Speaker, the committee further noted that the recognition of stalled checks, reversals as income, requires proper justification and clear audit trails to ensure completeness with applicable accounting standard. In addition, Madam Speaker, the committee questioned at the point such as an amount reverted back to the fund, noting that the funds were intended to aid needy students. The committee also questioned the utilization of the amounts reversed, as the same were not reallocated to needy students either, as approved by the allocation committee. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the committee recommended that they ensure in the current financial year, all financial transactions are adequately supported by relevant documentation and that such document is made available during audit reviews. Henceforth, maintain a clear audit trails for all reversal and adjustment made in the cash book. And further, Madam Speaker, submit to the committee a detailed breakdown of the stall checks totaling to 7,528,660, indicating the reason. Madam Speaker, just to add something little on this query specifically, is that we went further to have a sitting with the department led by the CC Education and interrogated the submissions that they had given us. And indeed, it was true that this amount was stalled checks received that were not banked by either some of the students who were transferred to other school or maybe students that did not report to school, and a number of these reasons. And they gave sufficient evidence in regards to this amount, and the committee was satisfied, Madam Speaker. But going forward, we agreed that we will continue to look at the quarterly submissions of financial report in respect to this amount, just to make sure that it was used prudently in the subsequent financial year. We also had another query, Madam Speaker, on the award of bursary above the stipulated amounts and the financial statement that indicated 101,262,060 Kenya shillings were dispatched as bursary transfers during the financial year. However, the audit review of beneficiary schedules indicate that several beneficiaries received bursary allocations above the limit provided under Schedule 2 of the Nyandarua County Bursary Fund Act of 2019. The audit reported highlighted several categories of beneficiaries where the amounts awarded exceeded the stipulated limits, resulting in significant overpayment across boardings, secondary schools, day secondary school, vocation training institute, university, and other institutions. In the absence of proper justification, the priority of the disbursement could not be confirmed, Madam Speaker. And we also interrogated the submission made and had a sitting with the executive, and I can confirm to this House, Madam Speaker, that we were satisfied with the responses because some were scholarships and some were very needy cases, therefore explaining why they could get more money than the limit set out in the regulation. And also something important to note is that scholarship, Madam Speaker, in the same regulation, students with extremely needy cases and those who are considered for full scholarship by the county could get more than 55,000 and above. And therefore, we made a few recommendations that the CC submits within 7 days to the committees, again, a comprehensive list of bursary fund beneficiary, clearly distinguishing between scholarship bursaries and bursary beneficiary in future, and that the future the CC does ensure all beneficiary schedules are properly verified and certified before submission. And also, they consider using either the admission number or the newly number that has been created to register student under the new curriculum, the CBC. Madam Speaker, we had another query on the budgetary control and performance. And we looked at the statement comparison of budget and actual amount reflected a financial approval budget of 146,710,444 against an accrual receipt of 144,978,860 Kenya shillings, and expenditure of 135,158,483 Kenya shillings. This resulted in an under-absorption of 1.7 million in revenue and 11 million in expenditure. The Auditor General noted that the underutilization of the fund, Madam Speaker, may negatively affect the implementation of planned activities and services delivered to the Nyandarua residents. And the explanation from the responses we received from the executive was that the under-absorption was due to delayed disbursement of funds from the national government, and noting that 10 million was received after the end of the financial year. And the department further explained that the delays in finalizing an intergovernmental partnership agreement within the ministry and education also contributed to the delay in the release of the fund by the Controller of Budget. Under this query, we were satisfied by the submissions and the oral responses given by the executive, and our recommendation was that in future, Madam Speaker, the Treasury does ensure timely disbursement of funds to enable implementation of programs within the financial year. We also looked at another query on inadequacy of the enabling legislation, and we recommended, Madam Speaker, that the CEC does expedite the enactment of the proposed regulations to ensure compliance with the Public Finance Management Act. We also looked at the monthly reports on the County Assembly and realized that there were submissions of late reports, and agreed, Madam Speaker, that they will be submitting quarterly reports on time. And we also recommended them to create policies and follow up keenly, not to award students that have been awarded by the HELB program, the National Government HELB program, because we realize that some students who are receiving bursaries and that still have monies from HELB. So we requested the department to create a criteria of how they can be able to tell that some students have been awarded HELB, so that the county is able to facilitate and offer help to the students who need the help more than those who have received funds from HELB. We also had issues in irregularities in bursary disbursement. And our recommendation also, Madam Speaker, was that the department expedite a full implementation and operationalization of online bursaries management system to ensure a system where the management of bursary is fully centralized and they can be able to verify application, and that they also ensure that all application inputs are standardized and consistent at all of all applicants, Madam Speaker. We also encountered another issue, the last issue, on department, facilitating or giving bursary to students who have not applied. But Madam Speaker, they explained that these are issues that come later from very needy students, maybe those who come far and wide, that were not able to meet deadline, and then they come later. We found those responses and submission to be adequate, but we encourage the department to have civic educations on time and to make sure they visit every ward on time to make sure that this information is able to reach all the students in time. They don't have a risk management policies, but they also assured us that the policy will be coming to this house for approval in the next 30 days. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I wish to call one of our members of my committee, Honorable Lucy Kevenji, to second this motion for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Honorable Juliana. Honorable Lucy.
Madam Speaker, I do second.
Thank you. I now put the question, which is that I propose the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House, and the recommendation therein as a resolution of the House. I now put the question, which is that this House does adopt the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the report of the Office of the Auditor General on the Nyandarua County Bursary Fund for year ended 30th June 2025 as a report of the House and the recommendation therein. May those of a similar opinion say aye. Aye. May those of a contrary opinion say nay. And the ayes have it. Clerk, next order.
Madam Speaker, we've exhausted the business as indicated in the morning session's order paper.
All right, thank you, Clerk. There being no other business to transact during today's sitting, I now adjourn the House to Wednesday, 11th day of March 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
Our best.